Okay. This is a meeting of the Parking Authority of Fairfield being held in Sullivan Independence Hall and via Conference Bridge. It is February 27th and the time is 7:45 p.m.
Good evening, everybody. I want to
First you have to call to order and then do this.
Yeah.
Oh, you have it. Okay.
Welcome to the meeting. I wanted to ask for a motion to have a presentation of the audit report added to tonight's agenda.
Second.
Yep.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Nope.
Any discussion? Motion passed.
Okay.
Joe, you're on the agenda.
Okay, Joe.
Great.
I really apologize.
All right, it was just on my calendar, so I didn't even look at the agenda.
Yeah, I know. We didn't circle back, and I
So it shows
forgot.
true dedication.
Yeah.
We're on the agenda, waiting for us to join 10 minutes late. We thank you for all of that.
Absolutely.
Sure. Okay, you want me to start, or you have something else to do first?
The microphone is yours.
All yours.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So for the year ended June 30, 2024, you had positive operations of 102,000. And then there was a restatement to kind of line up the timing of when you earned some of the money. Most of it was advanced collections, but the vendor basically pays you a month after the collections. So that adjustment of 343,000 was just to get you lined up that you record the money in the period that it was earned versus kind of just off a little bit. So it just set up the balance sheet that in theory at June 30 everything that was earned is recorded. So basically it resulted in an increase in fund balance to line that up. So your unrestricted fund balance was 1.9 million at June 30, 2024. Again, the increase was 102,000 from operations. And if you looked at the cash flow statement, that's what was on page 33. You did have a positive cash flow of $321,000. So that's a good thing. As far as capital asset activity of new assets, so there was $113,000 of additional assets that were purchased during the year, and then that was offset by $421,000 in depreciation on the assets that were that already owned. I mean, the other things are the leases. You have both sides, the receivables and the payables, and those footnotes for included. So
hey guys, I'm just on. I'm going to.
Got it. Thanks.
Eileen, I'm going to mute, okay?
Yes, thank you.
And as I was saying, some of the details have to get updated next year. We'll make sure that happens as far as the number of leases and the types of leases that are in place. But those are the highlights.
Well, Joe, anything that cause for concern? Anything that jumped out at you in addition to the highlights?
No, there was nothing. Other than that timing thing of when we finally got that lined up to understand that the money coming in that you received in July was for June. That was the only thing that came up out of the ordinary. And then that was just I think when the vendor changed over, it just wasn't clear that the timing. So, I mean, ideally, and so it's hard to change the contracts if they would get you the money sooner than waiting 30 days, especially in May and June when you're collecting quite a bit of money.
Joe, are you talking about Passport?
Yes. I mean, just because they pay you a month late, 30 days when interest rates are good is a long time. But so it's just something to consider. But
yeah, the issue is that they'll pay us, like for instance now, they'll pay us for February's collections after February's over because then otherwise they wouldn't have the full month. So they pay us in March, and they've been better about getting the reimbursement to us quicker, but it's still going to be, around the 10th through the 15th of the following month. And otherwise they'd have, no matter what they do, I don't see how they'd capture, they're not going to prepay because they don't know what we're going to collect. So it's kind of a little bit of a dilemma that, the money will always come after the month is out because it's for that full prior month. So I don't really know how to make that difference.
You would negotiate that. There's no reason they should hold your money for a month. I'm just saying that's just not a good business practice. They should give it to you weekly. That's what I'm suggesting.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're saying get February's money the first week of March.
Yeah. Should we go back?
No, I'm saying at the end of the week they could pay you weekly. I mean, they have an accounting system. They would just give you weekly what they collect instead of waiting for a month. So it's just an observation, just because they're holding a lot of money. Again, at least in those big months, May and June, they're holding $600,000 or $300,000 plus each month of your money. So
right, because of the permit renewals. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, the rest of the months are pretty much just day parking, but you're right. That's where we get all the permits.
Okay. That's
right. So it's just something to consider, and I don't know how your contract's written or when you talk to them, is there a way to get it sooner? That's all. It's not a problem. It's just it would be better for you to get your money sooner. That's
okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I will definitely look into that.
But you were able to view the report from the system and tie it out for when the ultimate money did come in 2 weeks later, correct, Joe?
Yeah. Yes, I could map it, and
okay.
And it all goes to unearned. So that the reports seem pretty good.
Okay.
When you finally get them, and it could tie it out. So there was no issue with that aspect of what they're doing.
Okay, that's a fair point. Thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions for Joe?
No, thank you for answering a couple of questions for Eileen and I, Joe, separately on the leases, and we appreciate your back and forth with us, so thank you.
Great.
Great.
Anything else?
Good evening. No, I think that's it from our side, so we'll let you drop off here and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Okay. Thanks very much. Good night.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Bye.
Bye.
The second item on the agenda is the approval of the January 30th, 2025 minutes. Just requesting a motion to approve the minutes from the January 30th meeting. Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone object?
Nope.
Anybody abstain? The motion passed. Next item on the agenda is...
That was David who seconded it for those minutes. Okay, good. Thanks.
Okay. The office report. So parking stats, February parkers, the average including Fridays for the month of February is about 860 parkers. Excluding Fridays, it jumps up to 965, which is very similar to the December numbers and higher than what we saw in January, surprisingly.
Friday's higher, did you say?
Well, if you exclude
Okay.
Fridays, because Fridays is very, very quiet there, yeah. So if I take the average of the other 4 days, it will be higher than the full week. The fiscal year to date utilization, Fairfield is averaging 82%, that's excluding Fridays. Southport 53%, and the total lot average utilization for the fiscal year to date is 78%. For day parkers, February's daily average was about 190, and this is an 8% decrease over January's daily average, which was about 205. And fiscal year to date, the daily average is 250, with, again, Fairfield being 93%. For permits, our fiscal year to date permits are 1925. 88% of those are Fairfield. This is flat, basically flat over fiscal 24, and it's still 13% fewer than the pre-COVID numbers. We had 400 people request out-of-cycle permits, meaning outside of the July 1st start, and of those 400, 250 purchased. So only 62% of the people, they ask for the permit, and then a lot of them don't respond, or they change their mind or something. Yeah. Maybe but we have no wait list. So when they request, we immediately send them an application. So it's not like, they found something in the interim. I guess they're just feeling it out and seeing what's available. The HVAC work was completed. We had a final inspection yesterday, and I expect that it will pass. He saw one thing, a labeling of some wires that he wanted additional labeling on, but otherwise everything went well. We got a proposal from Honeybee Flower Truck. A woman who has this business wants to put a flower truck at the Fairfield Center train station. This is kind of what the truck looks like. This is not her truck, but it's that kind of look. So I had met her out there, and we talked about where we could put it, and that's the challenge. So she would need something close to the station so people see it when they come down the stairs, the Umpqua stairwell. But you can't park in a handicap. There is that crosshatch. I don't know if that's the right place. Maybe better, right up against the station house.
Well, that's where we used to have that, the flower lady.
She wasn't in a truck though. She had her table out, and she was on the corner of the building, outside. And then for a little while, she sold inside because the rental space wasn't being occupied. So we would let her go in there, and she paid rent, but she was going in there. This is different because of the truck. So I don't know. What do you guys? What's the thoughts on this?
Is it free? Like she would just show up and.
What's the proposal?
She just wants to find out if we would, if we would talk to her about having the truck there. So we'd have to decide if we were going to charge rent.
She hasn't said how many days.
She didn't say exactly. It's not going to be every day, and I told her as much as she might think Friday would be great. Friday's really quiet at the station, so you probably have to pick a different day.
Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, Wednesday or Thursday's probably, Tuesday's the most popular, but I don't know that Tuesday's a big flower day. Toward the end of the week, I think people get a little more.
Permission?
I'm sorry?
Do you actually need permission to come into the parking lot to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the food truck?
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Yeah. Why? Because they're stuck.
Yeah, and they're at their station house and things like that.
Like, is the liability?
They're in the state property.
My concern, liability-wise, will we need a lease on this, I think, or would this?
In the past, we had those pop-up, we had a policy on pop-ups.
Yeah.
And in a way, this is kind of a pop-up.
Which I'm supportive of local businesses.
Yeah.
It's just, you have to be careful on
Yeah, I guess the question was,
service agreement.
why yes for this and no for another? I mean, we obviously.
We've had some others, and we had one,
Fruit stands.
Yeah.
the truck with
Yeah,
the vegetables and fruit, but it was such a large truck, and it was going to hit, when they opened the flaps, it was going to hit the awning. We had somebody who was looking to put speedboat.
Put what?
Yeah, there's
Oh, he wanted to sell boats. He wanted to leave a boat in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, he wasn't going to leave it, but he was going to, that was his business to sell it, so he wanted to bring that in, but then he needed a parking space and things like that. We've had a lot of different proposals that have come up. So they're all different.
And so he wanted to bring a boat into and just leave it there.
No, he was going to have it on a, I think.
Trailer and bring it in and out.
Yeah.
That sort of makes it better. But
yeah. It was neat. So, we've had, so we've had a lot of different proposals is my point, that from all things. It's not just flowers. We've had all kinds of things. And each one of them is different. So they all need to be discussed. Can I just make a suggestion?
Maybe we should just table it until maybe next month.
Or it might not be.
Maybe not. Because
Yeah, go for it.
What, like, knowing what's impending, like what's the benefit to us to...
It's what happens with proposals like this? Are they just going to go to you and you make the decision, or? Okay.
So I can get back to her and find out more, how often. I'll ask her that again. I know she's purchasing the truck, so that's why she's trying to line up a couple places where she can be, so that she's sure that she has enough business.
But you should tell her that the
She had a lot of followers for a little while, but once COVID hit, that really hurt it. Fortunately, she has a flower shop,
right.
A store brick and mortar place, and this was an additional thing. But I can go back and talk to her and just tell her that we're going to have to table it.
I don't think it would be fair to her to get her hopes up and then not be able to do anything.
I'm fed up with my skills.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just all
frequency.
All those details.
Like Friday is like the line is dead.
But it's a big flower day.
I know, like if I would buy flowers, I would probably Friday, but I'm not gonna. Yeah.
So just maybe the ask is we'll table it, just like a little bit of information about her structure and the plan and
Okay, I'll do that, and I'll get back to you.
I mean, so it would be limited to the westbound side, right? You're not going so she's aware of that?
Yes.
There's no room.
Because I met her out there, and we walked around the lot to see where we could possibly fit this truck. It's not big at all. It's quite small. So I think it could work along the station house, parts there.
Yeah, like on the curb a little bit or something.
Yeah, just, right up by that stop sign, right at the end where the drop-off sign is, rather. Okay. And that's it for my report, unless anyone has any questions for me.
Have you heard back from the folks who approached you about the mural?
No.
Wait, that's real?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The art people?
Yeah.
Yes, and they wanted to be able to independently determine what their vision for the wall was going to be, if not get approval. Right.
I got a vision.
Yeah, no.
So the next item, if there's any other items, Eileen?
No, that's, unless you have questions for me?
I have no further questions.
Okay.
The next item on the agenda is to talk about the town's proposal, and then the town's invitation that they extended to us so graciously to attend the RTM meeting on March 31st. Not a lot of information about what they want to hear from us, but I thought we could take some time to discuss. My opinion, suggestion, as we approach that, is really, I think, that what the value that we bring, Eileen at the head of that, and the board supporting her, isn't well appreciated, understood. We're, in many ways, one of the best kept secrets in the town, I think. And so I think it's important to clearly describe that, talk about it. And again, whether it's the volume of, variety of things. But I think part of our discussion is that, and then also there's a interest in the funds, and just be transparent about how the monies are collected, what rubric, how we determine what stays, what's reinvested, what's paid out. Again, be prepared to talk about that. Just again, all in the spirit of how do we improve the experience of the commuter? How do we make sure that their impression of Fairfield, if they're there just for the day, if they're stopping in temporarily, is a positive one, right? And that's the mission that you live every day,
mm-hmm.
and that we come to these meetings with. So, that's really thematically, what do we do, you leading us, to make sure that it's a feel-good experience.
Right. And you as commuters, you see.
Right.
You have that first-hand knowledge. I'm out at the stations. I can tell you all the maintenance things that are needed. I try and be a good landlord with everybody. But you guys are the ones who are actually, there, and what's happening at the stations, and what you may hear comments and stuff from people, or friends of yours that are on the trains that will say something. So, and you bring that to the meeting, and I think that is really key.
But again, how do we determine what improvements are made, right? I think it's important to just talk about that very simply. How we come up with the list, and part of it is the experience, right? Safety. Right. We need to have the
budget.
Yeah.
Everything goes into that.
Right. And some of them
are everything.
Yeah, and some of them are state requested, and others are state approved. And by being in a close relationship with the state, I can hear from them as to some of the things they're looking after. And like yesterday, we had an inspection for the HVAC, but in talking with the state reps that came down, they made some suggestions to me about certain things that they've seen other parking authorities do. Pertaining to the station house. So, you get that firsthand information, and that's something that now I'm looking into, so.
Yeah, good.
Anything else? Again, a lot of this is going to be reactionary because we haven't really been told what is going to be discussed. I mean, today was the day I think we first learned of the meeting, because it really hasn't been communicated out to us specifically, right? Is that fair?
Right.
And I'll just say that for the longest standing member of this board, I don't even know, 8 years? 9 years?
Yeah.
At least.
Long time.
Were you here before me?
No. Right around the same time.
Okay.
How long has that been?
We were in 1992.
9
Okay, so probably 8 years. Yeah, I graduated high school doing this. We've done a lot of good things for this town, in that 9-10 year time frame that I don't think most people have any idea that has been done to this train station. So having the integrity of this board brought into question by certain people in town is unfortunate at best, in my opinion. And knowing the hard work that Eileen has done over that time, it really saddens me to hear people in town at the highest levels making these accusations that are unfounded and without any substantiation. So that bothers me. And the lack of transparency in this entire process to date is also concerning and not what I have found the political environment in Fairfield, for the most part, to be like in the 20 years I've lived here. Of course, there's been some issues that we all know about. But in this particular instance, the lack of transparency, I think, should concern a lot of people that live in Fairfield.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I might leave it at that.
How will we expect our public officials to act?
Question is whether you would want to give your time to something like this, you know, when you're scrutinized or treated like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Any other comments for the record? Yeah. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second. David.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Meeting is adjourned at 8:12.
Okay.